Part 59. Weird Star Witch. Author, White Silver Black Iron. Chapter 582. The Phoenix secret technique requires the use of the relics of the white demon priest, who claims to be a follower of the sun god. Phoenix has many aliases in mythology, such as Phoenix, Sunbird, etc. The phoenix is the symbol of the sun god in mythology. The sun god rises from darkness every day, and the phoenix also rises from the flames. Many of Rudolph's abilities are refreshed when the starry sky descends, that is, when the star power of the constellation appears, but Phoenix's rebirth from the ashes is different. This ability is refreshed in the morning light. Level 7 High Priest Jacob is waiting for the morning light to come, and so is Rudolph, also waiting for the morning light to come. When morning comes, Rudolph will be reborn from the ashes. When Jacob saw Hydra, the long star snake bathed in the morning light, he felt as if he had seen a ghost. The morning glow matches the purple giant beast, and the rugged purple snake scales reflect colorful and bright light in the glow. The furnace is resurrected for the 19th time. The 19th time. Come on. The white demon priest who stole the power of the sun. The intermission is over. Don't stop. I don't have any other ability, I just have a lot of lives. The smiling face of the furnace was illuminated by the morning light, and Jacob felt that the smile on that face was so hateful, so shameless, and so rampant. It's endless, it will revive after being beaten to death, it's as disgusting and difficult to deal with as a cockroach, how could there be such a wizard? Rudolph found a good way to replenish his star power. During the day, the sun's light blocks the starlight, making it impossible to replenish star power. Rudolph can only use the star power in his body to fight. However, every time he dies and is reborn from the ashes, Rudolph's star power will be replenished automatically. This is something else. Restore star power method. Even in the worst case scenario, even if his star power is exhausted, he can still use rebirth to reduce his star power to 3/4 or 1/2 of its original value. If he dies 3 more times, Rudolph will run away with his life. When the stars fall at night, the core ability of the Southern Karina will be refreshed. When he was just resurrected, Rudolph had set himself at this time as the node to return to the past. If he died at night, he would return to his current state, which was when he was just refreshed after being reborn from the ashes. Let's put it this way, facing the rising sun and being reborn from the ashes to refresh, as night falls and going back to the past to refresh, Rudolph is very durable, ridiculously long-lasting. Rudolph admitted that he couldn't defeat a level 7 priest plus a divine weapon, so what? Today, he was going to torture him, make him collapse, and make him feel the wizard's malice. The journey has been bumpy, and it accommodates so many secret moves. It's still too early to kill Rudolph, so let's feel the despair first. Rudolph's eyebrows flickered with fire, and he once again activated the absolute prophet state. The 9 heads of the starlight long snake Sidra raised their heads one after another. The huge snake heads formed a fan shape like a mountain. The 9 snake heads hit the golden mask from different angles. Jacob knew that he could not hit Rudolph now. He had to wait for the absolute prophet of the word spirit witch weapon to disappear before he could launch a counterattack. On the distant sea, there were 4 or 5 fishing boats that set off before dawn and came to fish early. They saw an astonishing scene in the morning light. A purple starlight beast was beating a giant golden mask. The snake's head was like a house, hitting the mask hard. The golden mask was knocked upside down and flew away again. The head of the snake in the back was smashed in the back. The 9 snake heads were so flexible that they smashed the golden mask flying everywhere. Just when the golden mask was in a daze, Rudolph raised his hand and fired a shooting finger. Under the influence of an absolute hit, the archer's finger fire directly shot through the head of Jacob in the golden mask. The soap bubble-like colorful body was broken, and the golden mask composed of the sun's light collapsed due to Jacob's injury, revealing the rainbow body inside. The biggest snake raised its head high and took this opportunity to hit the golden mask hard. This hit directly shattered half of the golden mask. Rudolph stood on the snake's head and stared at Jacob's colorful body at close range. "Great priest, why don't you fight back? Is it that you can't do it? Or are you just tired?" Although he was sarcastic, the abilities of Starlight Serpent, Absolute Prophet, Absolute Hit, and Shooting Finger Fire consumed Rudolph a lot of star power, and there was not much star power left in his body. The loss of divine power can be partially compensated by sunlight, but the consumption of physical strength and mental energy cannot be compensated. Jacob's head hurts, very painful, it is the pain after extreme exhaustion. The snake's head smashed into the golden mask, and the furnace stood on the snake's head. Jacob was mocked by the furnace being so close to his face. For a moment, his anger surpassed all emotions. The golden mask shone brightly. He tried his best to pour all his divine power into it. In the golden mask, the most powerful sun god's light is shot towards the furnace. At this moment, the golden mask was even brighter than the rising sun. The fishermen on the fishing boats in the distance covered their eyes. It was too dazzling. When the light beam disappeared, the sea slowly dimmed, and the world became quiet. Only the sound of the waves was unaffected and continued to rise and fall slowly. The cabin door of the fishing boat suddenly opened, and Rudolph walked out of the cabin. He saw the fisherman nibbling on a breadstick and asked, "Kind sir, can you give me a piece of bread? I'm a little hungry." The fisherman blankly handed the remaining breadstick to Rudolph. He didn't know why this man suddenly came out of the cabin. Wasn't this man fighting with that big mask just now? Why did he suddenly appear on his ship? At this time, the fisherman's wife ran out of the cabin in a panic. She pointed at Rudolph's back and shouted anxiously, He. It's him who came out of the furnace." The fisherman knew that the man in front of him must be the Apostle Master, who possessed strange and terrifying abilities. "Coming out of the furnace, I don't know what kind of strange ability this is." Rudolph turned the breadstick over and ate a few bites of bread from the other end. He felt that his condition was much better, and carefully put the remaining breadstick in his sleeve. "Kind fisherman, do you have any wine?" The fisherman hurriedly took a bottle of rum, which is the most common liquor on the sea. Handing the fisherman a silver coin, Rudolph took the wine and jumped into the sea. Not long after, the hissing of snakes sounded again on the sea. Jacob desperately discovered that 9 bulges appeared on the sea again, and white waves appeared on the bulges, and then the waves turned purple. 9 huge and ferocious snake heads emerged from the waves, and the furnace was resurrected again, still standing on the head of the largest snake head in the middle. Jacob desperately discovered that the star power that the furnace had just consumed was restored. "Why can you be resurrected 20 times? Why?" The voice after the rainbow body was so shrill that people on several fishing boats heard the shout. These fishermen found it difficult to understand what they just heard. They all thought they had heard it wrong. Is this true or false? How can someone be resurrected 20 times? Rudolph, standing on the head of the snake, did not answer him, but ate bread by himself. Even if he is an apostle, he will want to eat when he is hungry and drink water when he is thirsty. This is human instinct. Rudolph chewed the bread, and his expression seemed to be, "Look, I have bread, I am not hungry, you don't have bread, are you envious?" I don't know what is the last straw that broke the camel's back for Jacob. Maybe it was the ferocious scales of the starlight snake illuminated by the sun, maybe it was the fisherman on the fishing boat who pointed and pointed, maybe it was the piece of bread, maybe it was the fallen bread crumbs. In short, Jacob suddenly felt that he couldn't fight anymore. Especially after the furnace took out a bottle of wine, Jacob closed his eyes in pain. The power of faith was restored a lot after the transformation of the morning light, but the mental fatigue could not be restored no matter what. The sun god mask slowly shrank, revealing Jacob's rainbow body. Finally, the mask became normal size and was worn on Jacob's face. Jacob also broke away from the rainbow body state and turned back to a normal human body. Rudolph hesitated and did not make a move. The mask was still on Jacob's face. The artifact was really powerful. If he made a move, the rainbow body would appear again. Furnace, I remember you. After finishing breakfast and preparing to continue, Rudolph saw Jacob turning in the air and flying to the shore. Unknowingly, this place is close to the coast. No wonder there are so many fishing boats. Rudolph did not react for a while. Did the 7th level high priest with the artifact retreat first? Don't leave. Today, you are the only one who made a harsh statement. I haven't made a harsh statement yet. This is unfair. Why did you leave first? Weird Star Witch. Author, White Silver Black Iron. Chapter 583. Rudolph watched the level 7 high priest leave, and suddenly remembered the story about persistence. A man dug a 10-meter deep well, but climbed out in frustration because he couldn't get any water. In fact, the groundwater level is 10.5 meters. As long as he persisted a little longer, he could get water. The current situation is that the level 7 high priest Jacob has dug a 10-meter well, but he thinks the groundwater level is unfathomable and has to retreat. The resurrection of the furnace seems endless, which makes people desperate. In fact, Rudolph only has 7 lives left. He must wait until the starry sky comes at night, and Rudolph's absolute hit and return to the past will be refreshed. This daytime is when he is relatively vulnerable. In the early morning fight, Rudolph was bluffing in the end. He smiled on the surface, ate bread, drank wine, and mocked, but in fact he was a little uneasy. Rudolph couldn't break the defense of the golden mask if he continued to fight, and he was thinking about how to escape more efficiently. Now, the level 7 high priest was the first to be scared, which made Rudolph look very powerful. After watching the high priest leave and making sure that he would not come back, Rudolph hurried back to the green skull. The green skull was irradiated by the erosion light several times, and the reinforcement array on it had been damaged. The old and fragile hull could not even resist the resistance of the sea water during the subsequent voyage. The side panels were smashed by the waves and it was about to sink. Rudolph picked up Cooper's skull and brought it into the cabin to prevent it from being exposed to sunlight. Zombies are also one of the apostles who prefer the night and hate the sun very much. From the point of view of liking the daytime, the white demon priest really looks like a good person. Wizards and zombies like to move around at night. Which good person would like to be in the dark at night? This skull is light and the surface bones have turned into powder in the high temperature and have been thinned a lot. The surface of the bones was like being smoked, with black spots everywhere. These black spots were the scars of the sun's divine light burning. The attack power of the sun's divine light was very strong. Rudolph's starlight snake was already very strong, but it could still be blown up by the sun's divine light. This sun's divine light was more harmful to the zombies, and had a significant restraining effect. The 2 strands of green ghost fire were only half the size of usual, flickering weakly in the eye holes. Poor Cooper, at his age, he faced a strong enemy that he shouldn't have faced. Look at how badly Cooper was beaten, and even his white skeleton couldn't maintain it. Rudolph removed the Ares pupil fire because he found that the pupil fire had little effect on the warming effect of the ghost fire, and Cooper needed to carry it himself next. There were no windows in the cabin of the green skull. In the dim cabin, only 2 green flames could be seen. Rudolph leaned against the side wall and looked at the skull. There was nothing he could do except wait. The burning of the green ghost fire made no sound, which made Rudolph very worried. There was no movement at all. He took out the contact copper coin and looked at it. The copper coin did not respond. Ivan should be safe. The white demon priests were all led away by him. No one targeted the volcano and the giant. As time passed, Rudolph heard his breathing becoming more and more irritable. There was no way not to be irritable. I don't know how long Cooper can hold on. Don't let him die silently like this. He hasn't said his last words yet. What if Cooper still has something on his mind? What if he still has a last wish? After thinking for a long time, Rudolph made a decision. If Cooper died, Rudolph would give Cooper a last wish. He would find Cooper a young unmarried woman who unfortunately died early and bury them together. Poor Cooper didn't know the taste of a woman. After death, he had to be buried with a woman. I hope he has a female companion in hell. Cooper couldn't go to heaven after his death. He fiddled with his corpse every day. For him, the door of heaven had been sealed long ago, and it was sealed tightly. Rudolph waited for a long time in his wild thoughts, maybe 10 minutes, maybe half an hour, maybe even longer. Suddenly, a green light lit up in the dark cabin, and the green ghost fire suddenly flickered violently. Rudolph walked forward in surprise and found that the ghost fire was much more vigorous. Is this going to be out of danger? But it doesn't seem like it. The jumping speed of the ghost fire is like a candle flame blown by a strong wind. It doesn't look normal at all. Soon, a bunch of flames stuck to the skull, and the skull was actually ignited. Normal skulls or bones cannot burn. Even if they are thrown into the furnace, they will only turn into ash, not burn. The burning of the skull seems very strange. The skull burned vigorously, burning wisps of green smoke, and the bones disappeared quickly. Rudolph was called omniscient, but he didn't know what to do at this time. He spread his hands and waited, hoping that the child of destiny could survive this disaster smoothly. Rudolph should be the one to cover the rear. It was too much for Cooper to cover the rear, facing a level 7 priest and a divine weapon. This green will-o'-the-wisp was never so overbearing before. How could it burn all the bones, which were incombustible? And judging by the burning speed of the flame, it was so fast. After more than 10 seconds, the skull was burned dry by the green will-o'-the-wisp, leaving nothing behind. After the skull was burned out, the green will-o'-the-wisp also disappeared. Rudolph squatted beside the skull and suddenly felt very sad. Is Cooper dead? Not even ashes left? At least some ashes left. What should Rudolph bury? The thing Rudolph didn't want to see happened. Cooper died, and Rudolph lost half of his friends. He suddenly missed Yvonne very much. He wanted to use the contact copper coin to determine Yvonne's location and then find Yvonne. I don't know what to bury in your grave, so I'll dig up this floor and use it to replace you and bury you in your grave. Cooper, where do you want to be buried? Do you want to go to Lehmantown? Or bury it in the South City Cemetery in Fabreau City? When I pay tribute to Claude in the future, I'll also offer you a flower. After a long sigh, Rudolph covered his eyes. A voice suddenly scared Rudolph. No. I don't want to. I'm not dead yet, why are you burying me? Rudolph turned his head quickly and looked behind him. It was pitch black behind him, but where did the voice just now come from? Cooper, is that you? The voice just now was somewhat similar to Cooper's, but more ethereal, not like a human voice. Rudolph waved his hand, and there was nothing behind him. He raised his finger, and a flame lit up at the tip of his finger. A small fire magic illuminated the dark and empty cabin. Moldy walls, no furniture, this cabin used to store corpses. Rudolph looked left and right, but didn't see any shadows or anything unusual. Don't look, I'm here. Rudolph looked towards the voice and rubbed his eyes, but couldn't see anything. I'm a level 6 zombie now, this is my ghost state. Don't go forward, you stepped on my foot. Still going forward? You bumped into my shoulder. Rudolph did take a few steps forward, but he didn't touch anything and didn't see anything. Ares' pupil fire appeared in his eyes, which has a special effect on the spirit and soul. Under the effect of Ares' pupil fire, Rudolph finally saw Cooper, if this shadow was Cooper. Cooper at this time turned into a ghost, suspended in the air, like translucent cotton wool. Waving his hand through the ghost, he found that there was no obstruction, just like passing through the air. Completely immune to physical attacks and most spell attacks, this ghost state is a bit interesting. If it weren't for the forbidden technique of Ares' pupil fire, Rudolph would not be able to find Cooper at all. "Can you see me?" Cooper was a little confused. He tried to move and found that Rudolph's head also moved. Cooper left the ghost state, and Rudolph also closed the Ares pupil fire. Cooper, who left the ghost state, turned into a black shadow, and two beams of green ghost fire flickered in the position of the eyeballs of the shadow's head. "Cooper, you have been promoted? You don't even have a skeleton. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment." Weird Star Witch. Author, White Silver Black Iron. Chapter 584. Rudolph felt very strange. "Cooper, have you really been promoted?" "Yes, I was lucky enough to survive a real death situation. I completed my promotion and became a level 6 living zombie. You should be promoted, but you still had a skeleton before, but now you don't even have a skeleton anymore. I turned into a shadow, which is what you see now, a black shadow. I can also enter the ghost state, without even a black shadow. According to common sense, it is difficult for me to be discovered in the ghost state, but you can see it easily. I have to say, you are still the best. Needless to say, I'm awesome. Your new ability is pretty good too. Can you maintain your ghost state forever?" "No, the ghost state requires the power of a living corpse, which consumes a lot of energy. I can maintain the ghost state for up to 10 minutes. 10 minutes is a long time. Don't underestimate it. It's enough to do a lot of things. After being promoted to a level 6 zombie, I can control the corpse of a level 6 apostle, master the ghost state, and have several ghost zombie techniques. I can use the ghost state to lurk, and then use the ghost zombie technique to attack other people's souls." Bo said, "Tell me, why do I have no sense of achievement? I feel that promotion is too easy. I close my eyes and open them, and I will be promoted when I wake up. You really deserve a beating. If I couldn't hit you, I would definitely give you 2 punches. You don't even know how much I paid for my promotion. By the way, where is the White Devil Church's fleet? Total destruction." Cooper was in disbelief. Total annihilation. That's not accurate. It should be called total annihilation. Cooper found it very incredible. What about the level 7 priest and that terrifying artifact? The high priest was beaten away by me. Neither the high priest nor I could do anything to each other. Finally, he got tired from fighting, and I got tired from fighting all night. We stopped and went back to our homes. Cooper believed this. Since they could talk quietly now, it proved that the danger was far away. Rudolph was as strong as ever. He was as outrageous as a bull or something. "Are you really not the illegitimate son of Mercury, the Scorpio wizard of the zodiac?" "Of course not. Mercury was a wizard 300 years ago. Why, was there a tadpole freezing technique at that time? Can it be frozen for 300 years? How could I be his illegitimate son? Didn't you say that those above level 9 are immortal? What if he becomes immortal? It doesn't seem like it. Eternal life requires the control of authority. I haven't heard of any authority being controlled by him." Rudolph suddenly shouted. "Oops. The corpses of 3 level 6 White Devil priests are still soaking under the water. What a waste. We have to find the corpses. Don't let anyone pick them up. We will beat them to death. Someone can get 6 even by diving into the water. A super relic, such a lucky person should be beaten, and he must be made to spit out his illegal gains." The Green Skull was abandoned. Rudolph used the Starlight Southern ship to smash the broken ship. The Green Skull slowly sank into the sea. Rudolph and Cooper took the southern ship and sneaked towards the sea area where the previous battle took place. No one paid attention to the fishermen who were standing aside. They thought what they saw and heard today was a bit weird. However, there was a druid among the fishermen. He sorted out everything that happened here and prepared to report it to the tribe after going ashore. As a result, a piece of news quickly spread on both sides of the Salago Sea because it was so exciting. Did you hear that? What did you hear? The White Devil Church and the Furnace had a head-on battle. The White Devil Church's fleet was completely destroyed. The Furnace won the battle. Oh my God, is the Furnace so strong? What's even more unbelievable is that I heard that the 7th level High Priest of the White Devil Church was defeated. Conquer? What does it mean to conquer? Doesn't the White Demon Priest believe in evil gods? How can he conquer a wizard? I heard that the 7th level White Demon High Priest Jacob was wearing the artifact Golden Mask. In the end, he was unable to do anything with the Furnace because the Furnace was resurrected in front of the 7th level High Priest 20 times. A total of 20 times. Absolutely impossible. How can you have the ability to be resurrected 20 times? Really? Absolute fidelity. At that time, many fishermen heard the cry of the 7th level High Priest who collapsed and lost his temper. The 7th level High Priest did not bother to silence those fishermen. He must have been subdued, otherwise it would not be like this, so this scandal just came out. Even if a cockroach can be resurrected 20 times, I don't dare to step on it again. Impossible. I still don't believe it. The Furnace can't be so powerful. The Furnace can't face a fleet and a great priest alone, right? Oh, and the Green Skull. That makes sense. 2 big pirates took action. I think it's a little more believable. Have you not noticed yet? Although there are 2 big pirates in the pirate group of Forge and Green Skull is a supporting role. With Forge around, he has almost no chance to perform. This news also spread to the ears of many forces. Forces that do not know the number of resurrections of the Phoenix Wizard, such as the Elba Alchemy Council with a short history, recorded in top-secret files that the Phoenix Wizard was reborn from the ashes at least 20 times, and it is suspected that it is unlimited times. The forces that knew the number of resurrections of the Phoenix Wizard, such as the royal family, quickly corrected the secrets recorded by their predecessors in the Royal Secret Book. The Phoenix Wizard was not reborn 9 times at all. The ancestors must have been deceived by the Phoenix Wizard. If you believe this lie, if the intelligence then confronts the Phoenix Wizard, he will definitely be played to death by the Phoenix Wizard. A few days later, Cooper, who was rumored to have defeated the 7th level priest together with Forge, was sitting in the lower cabin of the Titan, staring at a teacup in a daze. It's not that I have to drink tea, I just miss my old life. When Cooper was level 5, he became a skeleton. He could use his finger bones to pretend to pick up a teacup. Even if he turned it and looked at the steam of the hot tea, it was very good. Now he has become a shadow, without even a skeleton. This feeling of losing his body and only having a consciousness is really terrible. A hood is draped over the shadow, roughly forming the outline of a person, with a head and shoulders. In fact, there is nothing in the hood, only 2 jumping green ghost lights. Rudolph is very inquisitive. He is very interested in Cooper's shadow. After Rudolph's experiment, he confirmed that Cooper now not only has the ability to revive with the help of corpses, but is also immune to all physical attacks and most spell attacks. Only a few mental attacks can hurt Cooper. If Cooper turns on the ghost state, he will be more difficult to deal with. Mental attacks may not be able to hit him, because most mental attacks cannot capture him. Cooper is now on the Giant. After the Green Skull sank, the Giant is his new ship. When fighting against the level 7 priest, his collection lost a lot to compensate him. Rudolph gave him a level 6 White Demon Priest corpse. Now there was a bald man standing behind Cooper, the White Demon Priest he had seen before. Cooper didn't say much about Rudolph's compensation. He wanted to say that he didn't suffer any injuries and was promoted after sleeping. He felt that he had made a big profit, but seeing Rudolph and Yvonne's concerned looks, he decided to continue pretending to be lucky enough to survive a disaster. The South ship was very fast. Rudolph and Cooper rushed to several battle areas at the fastest speed, fearing that someone would get there first and pick up the corpses. Fortunately, the battle between Rudolph and the level 7 priest was too advanced, and no one dared to intervene, so Rudolph successfully recovered 3 level 6 white demon priest corpses. One was given to Cooper as a showpiece. How could a level 6 zombie survive without a level 6 apostle corpse? Rudolph took the relics from the remaining 2 corpses and was now studying them. In a cabin on the upper floor, Rudolph was staring at the porthole in a daze. In fact, he was studying the reward he got from his relics. Weird Star Witch. Author, White Silver Black Iron. Chapter 585. In the battle with the level 7 White Demon Priest, Rudolph saw many powerful abilities of the White Demon Priest, such as the colorful rainbow body, golden mask, and solar god light. Unfortunately, these abilities seemed to be of a very high level, and the level 6 relic that Rudolph got did not bring him these abilities. It is more likely that these abilities that can suppress Rudolph are the unique abilities of the White Demon artifact. After all, not everyone can suppress Rudolph for a whole night. The level 7 White Demon Priest must feel very frustrated to tie with the level 6 wizard. Rudolph also felt very frustrated. No matter who escaped for a whole night, he would feel upset. This relic has long turned into a meteor and flew to the Taurus star field in the star map, hitting the Taurus Gamma star, and the progress of Taurus has reached 2/10. With the collection of relics, new relics have become rare. Except for this level 6 relic, the corpses fished out of the Battle Sea area are all duplicate relics, and the progress of lighting up the star map is getting slower and slower. 3 suspended stars fell from the Gamma star of Taurus. This is a reward for Rudolph. Level 6, Erosion Light Beads. Level 6, Holy Light Sacrificial Ritual. Level 6, Xuanhuan Unicorn Secret Formula. Level 6, Erosion Light Beads is a method of making a witch weapon, and Rudolph is the first one to be excluded. Rudolph does not really need this witch weapon. First, because Rudolph has no shortage of attack methods, and second, because Rudolph has no shortage of witch language. Star Map has been chasing Rudolph to feed witch language for many years. If Rudolph cannot make a witch weapon smoothly now, then Rudolph's IQ is too low. Rudolph wants to make a witch weapon. There are enough witch languages for him to choose from, and he does not need to exchange for relics. Therefore, this witch weapon making method was excluded by Rudolph. The second reward is the sacrificial ritual. Look at the name of how to sacrifice the Lord of Holy Light. Having just annihilated the navy of the White Demon Church stationed on White Knight Island, Rudolph does not want to take the initiative to find the evil god White Demon. What if the evil god is really communicated after the ritual is completed? Should he admit his mistakes to him? Will he forgive Rudolph? The second option was also ruled out by Rudolph. The last option is also the one that Rudolph will definitely choose. The name is so important. For example, the unicorn constellation in front of him is different from the 10 constellations in the mid-sky. Like the phoenix, the unicorn is also a rare creature in mythology. His constellation ability must be very special. Rudolph chose this secret formula, hoping that this secret formula can bring him a surprise. A few seconds later, Rudolph was in a bad mood after reading the secret formula. It was a surprise, but it was a little too surprising. \U0026 amp, LT, Astrology Map Unicorn Hexagram. Main Relic Level 6 Night Relic. Secondary Relic Level 6 White Magic Priest Relic or Level 6 Wind Wizard Relic, Level 6 Word Spirit Relic. Ritual Location Unicorn Constellation Direct Area, Cavendish Dukedom. \U0026 amp, GT. This secret main relic is actually a level 6 knight relic, which is simply outrageous. Rudolph now knows two level 6 knights, one is Marquis of the Golden Anchor Palu, and the other is Marquis of the Royal Knights Nicta. That is a marquis. There are not many kings, dukes, and marquises. Among the entire Elba royal nobles, the status of the marquis is firmly ranked in the top 20, and he is the core figure of the Elba nobles. Dealing with these two marquises is no different from directly declaring war on the Elba royal family. The knight relic is a symbol of the powerful power of the constellation. The knight is the strongest apostle. The characteristics of the knight relic determine that the power of this constellation is stronger than that of ordinary constellations. The level 6 White Demon Priest relic or the level 6 Wind Wizard relic, this secondary relic Rudolph already has, and what is even more exaggerated is another secondary relic, the level 6 Word Spirit relic. The scarcity of the level 6 Word Spirit is no less than that of a marquis. When Marquis Palu was still a count, his military spirit was only level 4, and it was Mr. Child, the tutor of the Golden Anchor family. Now Mr. Child may not even be level 5, which is too difficult. If there is a strongest constellation in the mid-sky, Rudolph thinks it must be the unicorn. Unless he has a very good luck, it is impossible to complete this secret formula. Now he has encountered the most difficult problem for high-level wizards. With each level up, the number of relics decreases sharply, and it is very difficult to collect 3 relics. After dealing with the reward of the relics, Rudolph came to the deck. The giant is really a huge sea ship. Its size is 1.5 times that of the 120-gun flagship, which is much larger than ordinary ships. Compared with the giant, the volcano next to it looks a little thinner. Seeing Rudolph coming to the deck, the first mate of the giant, Pilot, hurried over. Rudolph ordered, "Let's go to Redbeard Island first." The volcano and the giant headed for Redbeard Island, but Rudolph had a hunch that Redbeard Island was no longer worth repairing. A salvo from the White Demon Priest's ships could destroy the port. After arriving at the port, he saw a mess. Compared to regular ports, the pirate port is much smaller in scale, with only 2 piers. Each pier can dock 4 ships on both sides, which means that this port can dock 8 ships at the same time. Now, the 2 piers have been blown up by the White Demon Church. Not only that, many facilities on the shore were bombarded by artillery, and the retaining walls, embankments, roads, office halls, etc. were all seriously damaged. Rudolph shook his head at the port and summoned all the leaders. Intelligence leader Zachary, Castle leader Salmon, former chief engineer, port leader Iger, former second officer of Bohemia, Volcano first officer Mackenzie, Giant first officer Pilot Yvonne and Cooper, all gathered in front of Rudolph. "I think you have also seen that Redbeard Island suffered a devastating blow, and it will take several months to repair it. I have the money to rebuild, but the problem now is that this will not be the last time Redbeard Island is attacked by the evil god cult. The evil god cult is more and more determined to counterattack the northern continent, especially pirates like us who have frustrated them, will definitely be taken care of by the evil god cult. I mean, give up Redbeard Island and don't be a fixed target of the evil god cult. What do you think?" This choice is difficult, because these leaders have a lot of property on Redbeard Island, and it is also a symbol of their status, but the situation is like this: Rudolph can't stay on Redbeard Island. The leaders were silent, and Rudolph had to continue to persuade them. "I can beat back the 7th level high priest this time, but next time, I will definitely not be the opponent of the 8th level cardinal priest. By then, Redbeard Island will not be able to be saved. I don't want to leave our base either, but there is no way. The situation is serious and other pirates have also suffered a blow. What I mean is that in the future, we will use the huge giant as a cargo ship and the volcano as an armed escort ship. During the war, we will change our way of survival. Let's run a huge shipping company together, and when we have the opportunity in the future, we will find a port to build our company headquarters. Then we will have a relatively fixed home again. It is unwise to defend Redbeard Island, what do you think? Among the leaders, Mackenzie is the most experienced. He said, Captain, we know the situation. Redbeard Island is too close to the White Demon Church and will suffer repeated attacks from the White Demon Church. It's just that we are reluctant to give up here. Let's do as you say. In the future, we will be a cargo fleet, which is also good. The word stability is very attractive to pirates. Especially Rudolph's pirate group. The pirates in this pirate group are not pirates in the traditional sense. They have never robbed merchant ships. They are very different from real pirates. If you all agree, we will sail west to the Eagle's Beak Peninsula to see if there is any business to do there. Ivan cast a grateful look at Rudolph. The west side of the northern continent is all wilderness. The west of the Eagle's Beak Peninsula is the territory of werewolves and vampires. It's time to find a level 6 werewolf for Ivan to let him feel the oppression of a level 6 wizard. Weird Star Witch. Author, White Silver Black Iron. Chapter 586. Last time when he left Eagle's Beak Peninsula, Rudolph asked Celine to help him find the distribution map of wilderness forces. After getting the map, he could easily find the location of the level 6 werewolf. At night, Ivan came to the roof of the bridge and saw Rudolph lying on a beach chair staring at the starry sky. She came over and squatted beside Rudolph and asked, "What are you thinking about, Rudolph?" Rudolph retracted his thoughts and said, "I'm thinking about the wonders of the constellations." "Why is it wonderful?" "Ivan, do you know how Scorpio came about?" I don't know. Ivan only knew that Rudolph was a Scorpio wizard, but she didn't know the historical knowledge of the origin of Scorpio. This is not Ivan's fault. Knowledge is monopolized by alchemists. Only those who get a letter of recommendation from an alchemist can go to school. Ivan's writing is self-taught. Orion was a famous hunter in the gods' world. He boasted to people everywhere that he was the greatest hunting expert in the world and that there was no animal that was not afraid of him. Therefore, he offended the queen Hera. In order to punish this arrogant hunter, Hera sent a poisonous scorpion to ambush Orion on the road he passed every day, hoping to attack him when he was not paying attention. Orion and the poisonous scorpion died together in the end. Hera was very satisfied, so she raised it to the sky and it became Scorpio. This is the origin of Scorpio. Orion was raised to the sky by the main god Zeus and became Orion. As long as Scorpio appears, Orion will disappear from the other side of the starry sky without a trace. When Scorpio falls, Orion will rise again. These two constellations will chase each other in the sky forever, never seeing each other. Once they meet, these two constellations will appear. I die if I die. Among the 10 constellations in the mid-heaven, Orion makes me feel instinctively uncomfortable. It is said that the wizard of Orion can restrain the wizard of Scorpio. Those ancient stories have been passed down to the present, and only a story outline remains. I have studied many constellations and accommodated the characteristics of several constellations. I think many mythological stories are true. You said that the Queen of Heaven Hera, why did she send poisonous scorpions to deal with Orion? If I meet an Orion wizard, I must be very careful, unless... Hearing that there is a wizard who can restrain Rudolph, Ivan was very nervous, and she asked quickly, "Unless what?" "Unless I also become an Orion wizard, so that I can restrain myself. Before others restrain me, I have already restrained myself, and walked others' paths so that others have no way to go." Ivan knew that this was Rudolph's bad taste. In Ivan's opinion, Rudolph sometimes likes to play pranks and exciting games. He always faces everything with a game mentality. There is always an unreal feeling on him, which makes Ivan feel that she will lose him at any time. This is the common feature of time travelers. Because it is too dreamy, they always feel that the world is fake, so they like to play games. Then I wish you to become an Orion wizard as soon as possible. You restrain yourself. Haha, that must be very interesting. I really want to know the characteristics of Orion wizards. I don't know how Orion restrains Scorpio wizards. 2 days later, the volcano and the giant arrived outside a port. Captain, there is Cotton Jack's pirate port ahead. Should we enter the port for supplies and rest? Go in, it's okay. Cotton Jack is a level 6 trapped priest. He developed a group of trapped believers among pirates. He was not recognized by the church, but because of his faith, the trapped church did not openly oppose it. When he was still far away from the port, Rudolph saw the bombed pier and port. Did the trapped church attack Cotton Jack? It seems that the Church of Trapped launched a purge before the counter-attack, and no longer let Cotton Jack be in the gray area. The port was blown up, and someone rested a small area for a few ships to rest. Even the volcano and the giant had to take turns to enter the port, otherwise there would not be so much space. The volcano became famous for a short time, but the giant was a famous ship on the Sarago Sea. When people at the port saw the giant, they knew that the furnace and the green skull were coming. Roberts betrayed the pirate assembly in the naval battle, so he was executed by the furnace, and Roberts' ship was returned to the furnace. The furnace and the green skull are two big pirates with a very good relationship, and they always appear at the same time. There are a lot of supplies for steamships, the most important of which are coal and fresh water. I don't know if there are still these supplies in this dilapidated pirate port. Mackenzie and others will use the names of the furnace and the green skull to deal with the supply issues, while Rudolph and Cooper will walk around the dock to see the extent of the damage in other pirate ports. Pedestrians on the road avoided the two big pirates. Having just been bombarded by artillery fire and magic, these small pirates felt that it was safer to stay away from the big men. After the two big pirates walked away, the passers-by turned their heads and looked at the big pirates who were walking away. The furnace looks normal, why is the green skeleton a little strange? Which eye of yours can tell that the furnace is normal? He is a ruthless man who has been resurrected 20 times. Just tell me if you really died once. No, I mean that compared with the green skeleton, the furnace looks normal. Look at the green skeleton's shoulders when he walks. Others looked carefully and saw that the green skeleton walked as if it was moving horizontally, with its long robe dragging on the ground, as if it was not walking on its legs. It was too stable. From this point of view, the furnace next to it, wearing a neat suit, did look much more normal. I don't know if the green skull heard it, but the pedestrians saw the green skull slowly turning his head. This turn almost scared the passers-by. The green skull turned his head 180 degrees, but he still moved forward steadily. No one could walk like this. It was dark inside the lowered hood, but the two people who just spoke knew that the green skull was looking at them. They raised their hands one by one, waved their hands, and muttered words of begging for mercy. They felt that they were going to die and would be collected by the green skull. Fortunately, the green skull just turned his head to look at them, and continued to walk deeper into the port with the furnace. Rudolph saw the temple of Cotton Jack from a distance. These apostate priests would also use the temple to offer their faith to the evil god. Kundan's temple is very special. The evil god Kundan's name is the god of craftsmen. His temple is a blast furnace-like building with dozens of chimneys of various sizes. There should have been thick smoke coming out of the blast furnace, but now the temple has been destroyed, and the chimneys have collapsed one by one, with only half or one-third left, indicating that there was once a temple here, a temple that was not recognized by the Church of the Trapped. The temple of Cotton Jack has been destroyed. It seems that this has been approved by the evil god Trapped. Cotton Jack is useless. Just as they returned to the port, a man came up. Mr. Furnace, Mr. Green Skull, our captain would like to invite you for a drink. Your captain? Who is your captain? Poor Sailor Drake. An acquaintance, that's fine. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Weird Star Witch. Author, White Silver Black Iron. Chapter 587. Rudolph and Cooper followed Drake's men to the tavern, and found that there were many injured drinking people in the tavern. These people were injured in the bombing of the difficult church, and they came to drink before their injuries were healed. When he saw Drake, who was also injured and drinking, Rudolph was stunned. Sitting opposite Drake, Rudolph asked, "Don't doctors pay great attention to health care? Why don't you treat yourself for this injury?" Drake is a famous pirate doctor on the ancient Sea of Sala. As long as you pay and are brave, you can seek treatment from Drake. Not only was Drake injured, he was at least hemiplegic. Half of his body was tied up indiscriminately, a technique that even a layman like Rudolph couldn't stand. Derek raised his head and glanced at Rudolph, and took a big sip of wine. "My first mate said he saw you two ashore. I didn't believe it. I didn't expect it was really you." Seeing Drake's decadent look, Rudolph asked, "How did you become like this, and why did you appear in Cotton Jack's port?" Rudolph didn't dare to ask about Drake's hospital number. The ship had obvious features. It was not seen in the port when it came, so it must have been sunk. Sure enough, Drake's words confirmed Rudolph's guess. "I appeared at Cotton Jack's port." "No, this is not Cotton Jack's port. This is now the port of the trapped church. In a few days, the trapped church will send someone to take over here. You should leave quickly, it is not safe here." "Thank you for reminding me." One by one, "Derek, don't worry, I just want to ask you why it's like this." Drake envied Furnace's calm appearance, but unfortunately he did not have such strength and calmness. Drake continued, "I appear here because I have just been released from the trapped church. Because I have saved many people, and many of my former patients were high-level church officials. They interceded for me, and I was released. The Church of Trouble is responsible for two big pirates, one is me and the other is Cotton Jack. Cotton Jack was recruited by the trapped church and had to either join the church or destroy the parish established by the traitor. Cotton Jack still wanted to struggle, but unfortunately the oracle appeared at the last moment. Cotton Jack had to give up everything, join the trapped church, and become a priest. Moreover, he was a grassroots priest behind the trapped church. He would never see him again in this life. To the sea. I'm not much better than him. The Church of Trouble sank my hospital. What you see now is my entire pirate group, only 2 people are left, me and my first mate." Rudolph accompanied him with a glass of wine. "The story is quite sad. A pirate group was killed and captured, and in the end only 2 people were left. The pirate group equivalent to Rudolph finally only had Rudolph and Yvonne left. You are so powerful, Furnace, you can actually defeat the White Devil Church. Where are the other pirates?" Pirate King Polly directly defected to the Alchemy Council of Elba. Black Baron Basha and Port Disaster Morgan were both knights. The 2 of them defected to the Royal Navy. Eric the Red fled his port and fled to Elba. In the wilderness to the west of the Ba Kingdom, everyone is miserable, except you. Pirates are rats living in the shadows. It is not difficult for either side on either side of the Sarago Sea to eradicate pirates. I can't advise you to think about it. I can only say that I will also prepare a golden basin to wash my hands and work as a freight forwarder." The ship's owner. Drake suddenly raised his head and stared at Rudolph. Rudolph thought that he had said something wrong, which had offended Drake. Drake was already in a miserable state, and Rudolph really felt guilty. "Forge, I heard that you and the evil cult are at odds with each other. Can I join your pirate group and follow you to kill priests in the future?" Faced with Drake's suddenly bright and hateful eyes, Rudolph nodded without hesitation. "Of course, my doctor." The poor Drake pirate group was destroyed, and he actually wanted to join other pirates. Of course, Rudolph chose to agree. The captain went ashore and actually asked the great pirate Drake to be the ship's doctor of the volcano. The crew were very happy. Apostles are also human beings, and they can get sick and may be weak, especially those diseases that can cause irreversible damage to people. Sometimes apostles have no way to do anything about it. During the months-long voyage, the food on the ship was monotonous and could not replenish rare elements. The small cabin space is stuffy and the sanitary conditions are poor, increasing the chance of getting sick. With Drake, a well-known ship's doctor, the safety of the crew is better guaranteed. It has to be said that the two captains who were both promoted became more and more powerful, making big pirates like poor sailor Drake loyal. In the eyes of ordinary pirates, this is the surrender of poor sailor Drake to the furnace. There is no shame in surrendering to the melting pot. The Forge used his own strength to prove that he was a powerful pirate that even the church could not do anything about. 20 Resurrections made the Forge more famous than the pirate King Polly. Pirate King Polly defected to the Elba Alchemy Council, and her title of Pirate King was only one chance away from being handed over to the furnace, because the furnace was already the strongest pirate on the ancient Sea of Sarah. It's a pity that Rudolph is not interested in the title of Pirate King. Nowadays, everyone shouts about pirates, so it is of little value. When he was about to leave the port, Drake stood on the deck and looked at the port in silence. Rudolph saw that his ship's doctor was in a bad mood, so he went over to stand with him and asked him, "My ship's doctor, look forward, the loss is inevitable, you still have to look forward. Captain Rudolph, there will be no more pirate ports for a long time." Rudolph gave up Redbeard Island, Cotton Jack's port became a fixed asset of the trapped church, Drake's port was also blown up, and the same was true for other pirate ports. Steamships have a large cargo capacity and a long voyage, but they also need a lot of supplies, especially a lot of coal. Pirate ports can get cheap smuggled coal, which is one of the basic conditions for the existence of pirate ports. In the future, all sea vessels can only use official coal, and there will be no such cheap coal to use. Yes. Drake echoed, after the big pirates get their first pot of gold from the initial looting, they will turn to operate ports, which is much more profitable than looting. Unfortunately, the pirate ports were destroyed by the church. Cotton Jack was captured by the trapped church. I don't know how Cotton Jack is doing now. Rudolph said, the trapped church will not kill him. After all, he is a level 6 priest. He has developed many trapped believers. Although the pirate group has been destroyed, you can see that the believers in this port have survived. The trapped church will definitely accept this place instead of destroying it. I know Cotton Jack will not die, but I don't know if Cotton Jack can adapt to the life of the church's remote parish. He is a big pirate who dominates the ancient sea. I hope he can enjoy his retirement life. Weird Star Witch. Author, White Silver Black Iron. Chapter 588. Deep in the Kundan parish, a primitive wooden-wheeled cart without alchemical shock absorbers is slowly moving forward under the drag of a slow donkey. The road here is bumpy and uneven, and every time a pit is passed, the old donkey will be more tired. There are blacksmith shops everywhere inside the Kundan church. The carts pulling coal and iron ore have damaged the road. In addition, this place is too remote and not worth maintaining, making the road condition very poor. The Kundan church imitated the steam turbine of the alchemist, but did not imitate the steam locomotive, because the church advocates suffering. Steam locomotives can make people's journey comfortable, which is absolutely intolerable to the church. Only suffering that approaches the endurance limit of believers, can make believers realize the kindness of the God of craftsmen or other gods. It is the gods who bring faith and avoid people's lives from being too painful. It is also the gods who build heaven for believers so that believers will not suffer as much as they did when they died. On the cart, Jack swayed and looked forward with lifeless eyes. He did not urge the old donkey. The old donkey could rest as long as he wanted. He recalled the panic he felt when he fled from here decades ago, sitting on a cart. The whip never stopped at that time, hitting the ass of a donkey he threw at him. He lost his title, no longer Cotton Jack, and turned back into Jack, the believer who was expelled from the temple because he always raised questions. When the oracle deprived him of his divine power, when the oracle punished him, he understood that he had completely become a fish on the chopping board. Jack's destination was his hometown, a remote mountain village, where he would become a priest of his hometown. He was not allowed to leave the village or go to a high-level temple to pray to the god of craftsmen. After walking on the cart for more than 10 days, he finally saw the village on the hillside. There were about 10 houses scattered on the hillside, proving that there were 10 households here, and Jack would become the 11th household here. The previous level 1 priest died of old age in his low house, and he would inherit the low house and the position of priest in this village. 2 children in the village saw a white-haired old man climbing up the mountainside, and hurried back to the village, calling for adults to come and welcome the new priest. Soon, all 10 households in the village knelt at the entrance of the village to welcome their new priest. None of these people knew Jack. In fact, Jack was from here. His home was the 3rd wooden house from the west. Now that house was inherited by a relative he didn't know, and he didn't want to take it back. From the busy pirate port to the village on the mountainside, Jack didn't feel uncomfortable at all, as if there was no difference between the two places. Only his messy white hair proved that he turned white overnight and became old now. There is no temple here, not even a blacksmith shop or a blast furnace. Jack sat on the stone at the entrance of the village, ready to spend the rest of his life. Only when he occasionally looked in the direction of Saragosse, the gleam in his eyes, the eyes that could scare away several children, could prove that he was once a famous pirate on Saragosse. Lowering his head, Cotton Jack thought, I wonder if Drake can find a good owner for his legacy. Yes, he is still alive, but the legacy has been handed over. In the distant Saragosse, Drake suddenly found Rudolph. Captain Furnace, you don't have to feel guilty. Rudolph was a little confused. Guilty? Inexplicably, what should he feel guilty about? He never felt guilty. This alien world is not worth his guilt. Drake continued, at the pirate conference, your joining made the pirate king Baali reverse the situation. The pirates stood on the opposite side of the evil god cult. Now the big pirates have been hit by the evil god cult. You don't need to feel guilty about this. The atmosphere was set off here, and Drake's eyes were so sincere. Rudolph didn't feel guilty at all, but for Drake's comfort, he showed some guilt. Thank you for your comfort, Drake, I feel much better when you say that. Rudolph didn't think he had done anything wrong in pushing the pirate conference to fight against the evil god cult. Drake's comfort made Rudolph feel a little guilty. Drake thought too well of him. After I was captured by the Church of the Trapped, Cotton Jack found me in the prison of the Trapped. He said that the evil god cult didn't even trust him and bare-chested Miri, and it was only a matter of time before we, the great pirates, were attacked by the evil god cult. I now understand that it is precisely because we are against the evil god cult that the Elba Alchemy Council and the royal nobles are willing to take in the great pirates. And the evil god cult never included the item of recruiting pirates in its plan. The pirates were attacked, and it was not the fault of Pirate King Baoli and you. It was the resolution of the Pirate Assembly to fight against the evil god cult, proving that among the pirates, there are more people who are oriented to the North Continent than those who are oriented to the South Continent. Rudolph himself is very flexible. If the resolution of the Pirate Assembly is more likely to fight against the North Continent, then he will not inherit the seat of Redbeard. It is precisely because the resolution of the Pirate Assembly is more likely to fight against the evil god cult that he came forward. Drake took out a package and said, "This is Cotton Jack's legacy. It belongs to us now. I hope this legacy will be useful to you." Legacy? Didn't you say that Cotton Jack was exiled to a remote area of the troubled parish? Did he know that he would be secretly executed by the church? He won't be executed in secret, after all, he is a level 6 priest, Drake said. For Cotton Jack, his divine power was easily taken away by the oracle, everything he had as a great pirate was taken away by the church, and the parish he founded with great effort became part of the troubled church. Although he can breathe, he is already a dead man, a living dead man. For a man, the death of his career and ideals represents his social death. Cotton Jack is already a dead man who cannot resist, a dead man who can only wait to die. Rudolph opened the package, but found that there was nothing inside. This is Cotton Jack's prison. You have to use the power of faith in the prison to open it. No other way will work. Rudolph turned around and shouted, "Cooper! Find me a dead body of a trapped priest." Drake asked in confusion, "Who is Cooper?" Cooper is the Green Skull. The real name of the Green Skull is Cooper. You can call him Cooper in the future. No, the real name of the Green Skull is Laszlo, not Cooper. Oh? Really? The Green Skull really has a name. Well, it doesn't matter. You have been in Saragossa for a long time, you are right, the real name of the Green Skull may be Laszlo, but the real name of the Green Skull now is Cooper. Drake instantly guessed a possibility, the real Green Skull is dead? Your friend Cooper replaced the identity of the Green Skull. Almost, I have to say that you can escape from the Church of the Trapped, and your IQ is quite high. Soon, Cooper came to the deck with the dead body of a trapped priest. Drake looked at the Green Skull again, and his mood was different. This Green Skull was not the Green Skull that Saragossa was familiar with. He had changed. No wonder the Green Skull's style of behavior was very different after his reappearance. It turned out that he had changed. Other pirates thought that the Green Skull had been locked up for more than 10 years and had mental problems. The Green Skull after his comeback was terrifyingly well behaved, not like the original Green Skull at all. Are the level 5 trapped priest corpses enough? Enough, you said it as if you had a level 6 trapped priest corpse. Listening to the two people's teasing, Drake immediately caught a possible new situation. Is Cooper capable of controlling a level 6 corpse? Or you can say you are smart, yes, Cooper has been promoted to a level 6 zombie. Drake shook his head. The two big pirates were too strong. They were promoted one after another and became level 6 apostles. With the power of faith in the trapped priest corpse, Cotton Jack's trapped prison was successfully activated. After the cotton cloth came into contact with the power of faith, it suddenly expanded and turned into a round hollow ball wrapped in cotton cloth. Thousands of kilometers away, Jack suddenly raised his head and looked towards the direction of Saragossa through his messy white hair. Did Drake find the owner of the inheritance for him so quickly? Weird Star Witch. Author, White Silver Black Iron. Chapter 589. The dark prison of the trapped priest is not the abyss space that annihilates the priest, but a special cage. Once you enter, you will lose your 5 senses and the concept of time and space. Cotton Jack's legacy is his prison. It is not a treasure, but the people he imprisoned. The first person who appeared was actually a level 6 pain priest. This level 6 pain priest was naked and skinny. His arms were strangely twisted, like a 9-section whip. I don't know what kind of torture he suffered to become like this. On the sunken cheeks, the upper and lower lips could not close, exposing a large area of gums. The moment this pain priest appeared, Rudolph raised his hand and fired a finger fire, piercing his eyebrows, throat, and heart. Drake wanted to remind him, why not interrogate him first, in case he can get some information, but seeing that the furnace was so decisive, he didn't say anything more. The furnace really had an inexplicable hatred for the evil god cult, and this shot was not dragged out. What surprised Rudolph was that even though 3 parts of his body were fatally injured, the pain priest was still alive. He completely cut off his pain nerves and turned to look at Rudolph. On the skull-like head, the scalp was attached to the bones. A flaming batwing appeared on Rudolph's left side. The golden flaming batwing came from Vanya. The edge of the batwing was extremely sharp and suddenly cut towards the pain priest. After the flash of the batwing, the head of the pain priest flew into the air. "Who are you? Why do you want to kill me? Even Cotton Jack dare not kill me. You will live in the curse until you die." The death connection of the pain priest: those who kill the level 6 pain priest will fall into the pain curse and never stop. This death curse is enough to torture the enemy to death in endless pain, and Rudolph's face immediately showed a painful expression. Unfortunately, this curse is useless to Rudolph. Rudolph's rebirth from the fire is real death, without discount. Rudolph bit the poison sac in his mouth and poisoned himself before being tortured by pain. Golden flames appeared all over his body and burned himself instantly. Drake looked at the place where Rudolph disappeared, and then looked at the dead priest of pain, and was a little speechless. Is the legendary ability of rebirth from the ashes so casual? Is this how the furnace is used to rebirth from the ashes? After a few seconds, Mackenzie was suddenly frightened and screamed. He was smoking and watching the fun, and suddenly the cigarette butt burst into flames, burning golden flames. This handful of flames was so strong that the flames that were taller than a person almost burned his hair. Then, Captain Rudolph emerged from the flames and slowly fell to the ground. "Mackenzie, is your salary not enough? Why are you smoking such bad tobacco? It's choking me to death." "Captain, we haven't been to any proper ports. There's nothing in the pirate port. I'm already very satisfied with this half-wet tobacco." Derek looked at Rudolph, who was intact and not affected by the death association of the pain priest at all, and couldn't help shaking his head. This ability of rebirth from the ashes was really annoying. In fact, Rudolph could also use the Ares pupil fire to eliminate the death association, but rebirth from the ashes would cause less trouble. Looking at the dead level 6 pain priest on the ground, Rudolph said, "No wonder Cotton Jack wants to lock him up. No one who deals with this pain priest will have a good result. It has to be me. Fortunately, it's me. I don't know where Cotton Jack caught this level 6 pain priest. It looks like he has been locked up for a long time." Cooper also came up and looked at the body of the level 6 pain priest. "Cooper, I'll give you this corpse. You only have a level 6 white demon priest corpse now, which is not enough." "Okay, I'll take it first." Drake was shocked by the simple and rough way the two people divided the dividends. A precious level 6 priest corpse or a precious level 6 relic was divided by Furnace and Cooper in just 2 sentences. It was really eye-opening. No wonder the two big pirates cooperated so well. Most of the other pirate groups were in harmony and were always on guard against each other, but Furnace and Cooper trusted each other so much that they could share ships and ports. The level 6 pain priest corpse stood up again, and a lot of sewing thread stretched out from Cooper's sleeves, sewing the priest's head and his body together, leaving a circle of sutures on the corpse's neck. In addition to this level 6 pain priest, there was also a level 5 alchemist in Cotton Jack's prison. The alchemist was in good condition after being released. The level 5 alchemist staggered, fell on the deck, and turned to glare at several pirates. "Where is Cotton Jack? Why was he so rude when he let me out this time? It seemed that Cotton Jack often let him out. Cotton Jack is dead, and now his prison belongs to me." "Dead? Almost, you can understand it as dead." The alchemist believed this explanation, because Cotton Jack's most important prison now belonged to the pirate he didn't know. "Dead is good, he's finally dead." The alchemist danced with excitement. In an unfamiliar environment, on an unfamiliar ship, he had no sense of crisis at all, and shouted to the sky in ecstasy. Others didn't find it strange. The prison of Trapped Prison was the most terrifying prison in the world, even more terrifying than the prison of the painful church where torture was used every day. The most terrifying torture was not pain, but nothingness. Unless you were released, you couldn't even beg for mercy. Even the immortal green skeleton lost half his life when he was locked up, let alone ordinary apostles. The alchemist vented his anger for as long as the others had to wait. Until the alchemist collapsed beside the railing, covering his face and crying. If it's almost the same, can we communicate? Hearing the pirate's question, the alchemist raised his head. Okay. What's your name? Where are you from? Biller, an alchemist from the United States of Canada, has been captured by Cotton Jack for 22 years. 22 years, this is an exaggerated number. Cotton Jack actually locked up this alchemist for so long. Biller continued, Cotton Jack would let me out every once in a while and let me repair his cannon for him. Why don't you do something with the cannon and blow up his cannon? Hearing the question from the furnace, Drake couldn't help but look at the furnace. Why is this man so bad? Every time the repair is completed, Cotton Jack will let me operate it again. He has a level 4 alchemist who has come to him, and the trader will do a simple acceptance. This is a poor man, maybe he can't even commit suicide. Did you kill Cotton Jack? Rudolph shook his head. No, it was the evil god Kundan who abandoned Cotton Jack. Biller fell into ecstasy again, and shouted to the sky again, as if being thrown up by the church made this alchemist happier than killing Jack. Rudolph turned his head and looked at Drake. How much hatred does Cotton Jack have? Look at how he forced people to this point. When Burler calmed down, Rudolph said, Burler, I will let you go when we dock next time. After a long time, Burler said, forget it, in 22 years, my seriously ill father has been buried long ago, so let me disappear forever. This is your freedom. If you want to leave, then leave. If you don't want to leave, then be a will officer on my ship and be responsible for repairing those alchemical machines. Okay, Captain. Mackenzie stepped forward and took the weak level 5 alchemist away. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Weird Star Witch. Author, White Silver Black Iron. Chapter 590. Rudolph didn't know how to use the cotton prison of Cotton Jack. The corpse of the level 5 trapped priest couldn't play the role of this item, so Rudolph threw the cotton cloth into the corner of the stern. The stern of the south ship used the insect nest relic, with a huge space, which became Rudolph's most commonly used storage space. Until 2 days later, Rudolph suddenly took out the cotton cloth from the stern space of the south ship. He looked at the cotton cloth and was silent for a while, a little unbelievable, and then he found Drake and Beryl. Beryl had rested for a few days, and his physical condition was not very good, but his mental state had improved a lot, at least his face was no longer so pale. He also adapted to his new identity as the big wheelpipe of the giant. The steam turbine of the giant was relatively new, and he needed to be familiar with the new technology and new accessories developed by the alchemist. Rudolph took out the cotton cloth and put it on his table. Beryl's face became ugly again, and he felt terrified when he saw the cotton cloth. Drake didn't know why the furnace took out the cotton cloth. Rudolph said, I have a piece of news for you. This is no longer Cotton Jack's cotton prison, but his relic. Cotton Jack is dead. Dead, Drake was a little unbelievable. Wasn't he exiled to a remote parish? Was he still liquidated by the church? Rudolph said, I don't know if it was a natural death or he was killed, but I guess it is more likely to be a natural death. Mackenzie added behind Rudolph, this is very common at sea. After a ship sinks, if the captain retires, he will age very quickly, and even many captains will die in a short time. He has lost his spirit and will to maintain his body functions. If the hidden injury recurs, he will die quickly. Rudolph nodded and agreed with Mackenzie's statement. Cotton Jack, one of the top 10 pirates on the Sargasso Sea, the 6th-level trapped priest, died silently in the remote parish given to him by the church after his port and fleet were taken away by the church and his divine power was taken away by the evil god. In fact, that village cannot even be called a parish, and there is not even a temple, which is completely incompatible with his status as a level 6 priest. Biller, after the social death of Cotton Jack, he ushered in the real death. Now you can let go of your hatred. Biller nodded, greeted the captain and left the captain's room. He was no longer crazy with joy, and there would be no more violent emotional fluctuations. Drake sighed and said, in other words, this relic cotton cloth is also one of Jack's inheritance. It should be. He has no ability to resist in front of the Kundan church, or in other words, he has no ability to resist in front of the evil god Kundan. The only thing he can do is to decide the ownership of his relics. For him, giving the relics to others is more acceptable than leaving them to the Kundan church. The priests of the southern continent often enter the northern continent, but the apostles of the northern continent rarely go to the southern continent. Except for the unlucky apostles like wizards who have to go, they don't go to the southern continent if they can. The reason is that every town in the southern continent has a temple, a dense temple. The priests can get the attention of the evil god around the temple. In that case, the priests can't lose. The priests standing in front of the temple can be said to be the strongest apostles, but they are also the most pitiful. My ability comes from the constellations. The constellations hang in the sky forever. The constellations will not abandon me just because they don't like me. The priests are different. If they do something that the evil god doesn't like, they will really be abandoned by the evil god. No matter how powerful the priest is, he can lose everything tragically because of an oracle. From this point of view, they are the most pitiful apostles. Being able to use the power of the evil god means that the evil god can also deprive him of everything. Strong power must have a price. The same is true for Cotton Jack. He finally established a parish in the pirate port and contributed his faith to the evil god. Just because it did not match the development of the troubled church, an oracle took away everything from Cotton Jack. His divine power, his magic, his port, his pirate ship, his wealth, all left him. The only thing he can control is his cotton prison and his death. Now, he is dead, using this silent way to fight against the church. In addition to the humble death, he does not even have other means to retaliate against the church. Truly silent, perhaps the church will only receive a useless message that a new priest in a remote parish has died, which will not cause any ripples. Well, don't say it, he is miserable enough. Drake also left the captain's room. The death of Cotton Jack made Drake truly understand that the era of the great pirates was over. Mackenzie also left, and after everyone else left, Rudolph began to study Cotton Jack's legacy. The level 6 relic, the cotton cloth, disappeared in Rudolph's palm. Rudolph closed his eyes and began to look at the situation in the star map. In the star map, a meteor streaked across the starry sky and flew to the star field of Taurus. The Taurus Eta star was lit up by the relic meteor, and the progress of Taurus reached 3/10. 3 suspended stars fell from Taurus, and it was time to choose the rewards that everyone liked. Level 6 suffocation, Level 6 stuck prison, Level 6 mid-sky Orion secret. Rudolph's eyes lit up. A few days ago, when Rudolph was studying the constellations in the sky, he was still thinking about the fact that Orion restrained Scorpio. Now he saw the Orion secret. Just when he was sleepy, he sent a pillow. The star map was really considerate. There are only 10 level 6 mid-heaven constellations, and the probability is 1 in 10. It is not too outrageous to be hooked. It can only be said to be slightly hanging, small hanging, or light hanging. The level 6 suffocation technique should be some kind of witchcraft based on the magic of trapping. This technique cannot cause death immediately upon hearing it. Rudolph's current battle could determine life or death within a second. A witchcraft that could not cause death was not very practical. As for the second option, a method of making witchcraft, Rudolph also ruled it out. Just like the level 5 stage, only if Rudolph has no desires or desires in the secret method and he has a particularly large number of relics will he turn the precious relics into witchcraft. Now that he had just entered the level 6 stage, it was not time to squander, so he chose the third reward, the Orion secret. /U003 Might Heaven Orion secret. Astrology chart, Orion's hexagram. Main relic, level 6 druid relic. Sub-relics, level 6 distressed priest relics, level 6 plague vector relics. Ceremony location, Orion's direct area, Hound Forest. /U003E. The most powerful hunter must first be familiar with the habits of his prey. The main relic is the druid relic. Hunters also need to be proficient in the ability to create traps. One of the secondary relics is the trapped priest relic. What may restrain the Scorpio wizard is the plague relic. Perhaps the characteristics of Orion itself, coupled with the abilities given to the wizards of this constellation by the plague relics, are the key to restraining the Scorpio wizards. Fortunately, Rudolph has come a long way and has many and complex abilities. If the simple southern water snake turns into the mid-heaven serpent and takes this quick route of the Scorpio wizard, he will definitely be restrained by the plague broker and the Orion wizard. Now, after knowing some of Orion's secrets, Rudolph feels that he can handle it. There is a slight problem, but not a big problem. At this time, in the distant Carolingian Alchemy Council and the trial hall of the Burgundy region, a wizard walked into the secret meeting room. Shulamai, the director of the trial hall, said to the wizard, "The Orion wizard certain, a long-term witch hunting mission, the target is the Scorpio wizard." Scorpio wizard? I like Scorpio wizard best. Tell me his name. Rudolph the Forge, the Scorpio wizard's forge in Fabreau City, now the forge is on the ancient sea of Sarah. Where's the reward? A level 7 relic stored in the trial hall for you to promote to level 7 wizard. Make a deal. Weird Star Witch. Author, White Silver Black Iron. Chapter 591. After leaving Calico Jack's port, the next big port is Golden Anchor. The busiest port in the Elba Noble territory, the port of the Golden Anchor family appears at the end of the field of vision. This is a large port. Before entering the port, Rudolph saw a dozen ships anchored in the shallow sea. These ships were all ships waiting to enter the port. Behind the port is a large city, which is much larger than an average county town. If the war ends and the Marquis of Golden Anchor straightens out his Marquis fiefdom, Golden Anchor City, as the main city of the Marquis territory, will become even more prosperous. The volcano and the giant would make a major replenishment here before sailing westward. The giant's huge hull, the volcano's 120 cannons, and the pirate flags flying on the ship, including the volcano flag, the green skull and bones flag, the giant flag, the Black Cross Hospital flag, etc., all prove that these are two pirate ships. There is a white cross on the giant's flag, indicating that the flag was captured by pirates. Even people who don't know the story of the naval battle can tell from the flag that this pirate group destroyed the giant pirate group. There is only a Black Cross Hospital flag and no ship corresponding to the flag, which indicates that the pirate group will rebuild the hospital if conditions permit. On other anchored ships, the crew members turned around one after another, as if they would be targeted by pirates if they took another look. It's really hard to move when it's anchored, otherwise they will definitely hide further. What makes these merchant ships strange is that these two pirate ships may be afraid of the Marquis of Golden Anchor, so they did not use force and actually queued up at the back. Considering the recent tragic situation of pirates on the ancient Sea of Sarah, this performance is not surprising. The era of pirates has passed. In the future, business will be divided into business on the north shore of the Salago Sea and business on the south coast of the Salago Sea. Only very powerful ships can operate the trade routes across the Salago Sea. A gold anchor clipper quickly left the port and rushed towards the volcano. Not long after, Wendler, the chief steward of Golden Anchor Castle, boarded the volcano. I didn't expect Butler Wendler to be at Golden Anchor Port. I thought you would be at Coder Port, beside the marquee. Steward Wendler said, recently, the pressure on logistics has been increasing, and I have to go back to the fiefdom to handle logistics matters. You know, the war has been going on until now, and it is all about attrition, and logistics is more important. Sea transportation is the cheapest and most efficient mode of transportation. The logistics of Coder Port all rely on sea transportation. Golden Anchor Port is not only a commercial port, but also a military port. Steward Wendler looked at several flying pirate flags. The volcano was a volcanic flag with red mountains and red smoke on a black background. It represented the captain's strongest ability, the furnace, and was reborn from the ashes. It also represented the furnace's tyrannical character that swallowed and burned like a crater. On the other ship, the Giant, was flying the black background green skull flag of the big pirate Green Skull, representing the Captain Green Skull. Are you looking for the Green Skull? Rudolph followed Butler Wendler's line of sight and replied. The Green Skull sank in a battle with the White Devil Church Navy. Damn the White Devil Church, damn Jacob, don't let me be promoted to level 7 wizard. When I am promoted to level 7, I will go to Jacob first. Let him return the Green Skull to us. When the time comes, I hope Jacob will remember where the Green Skull sank, and I will ask him to salvage the sunken ship and restore it to its original condition without a slight musty smell. Hearing the angry words spoken by the furnace becoming more and more outrageous, Butler Wendler smiled and said, Mr. Furnace, most of the strength of your and Mr. Green Skull's pirate groups has been well preserved. This is already a humiliation to the White Devil Church. Your deeds spread throughout the ancient Sea of Sarah, and you were resurrected 20 times. This ability is almost like a miracle. All the major forces have issued orders. When encountering the melting pot, they must first seek a compromise and not easily start a war with the melting pot. Your intimidation power is so terrifying that other pirate groups can barely escape under the attacks of the Church Navy. Rudolph pointed to Drake on the Giant. Couldn't the other pirate group you mentioned be him? That was Drake, a poor sailor who was one of the big pirates. He is now my ship's doctor. Poor him. He is about to suffer from depression, but it's a pity that doctors can't heal themselves. Under the attack of the troubled church, he only has one first mate. Oh, his first mate is now the third mate of the Titan, and that person is quite good. Butler Wendler quickly shut up. As a butler, he was always prudent in his words and actions. He felt that this behavior of mocking the big pirate in front of his face was insulting to the noble character of the nobles. It's somewhat unethical to rub salt into other people's wounds. Fortunately, there is a certain distance between the volcano and the Giant. I hope the sea breeze will not spread these words to the ears of poor sailor Drake. The plague vector is excellent. If there is a disease in the future, Drake needs help. Rudolph said. The White Devil Church destroyed my port, Redbeard Port. Redbeard Port was too close to the White Devil Church and too far from the Royal Navy. I had to abandon that port. Butler Wendler, I led my pirate group to transform. Now the volcano is an armed escort ship, and the Giant is a cargo ship. Look at the size of the Giant. The volcano is the most advanced flagship ship currently, and it is big enough. The Giant is 1.5 times the size of the volcano, so it is suitable for a cargo ship. I hope to renovate the Giant in the dock of Golden Anchor Port so that the ship can hold the largest amount of cargo. Cargo connectors will also be welded on the deck, and cargo stores can be stacked on the wide deck. I don't know if there is any business in Golden Anchor Port. The two ships are in desperate need of food. I can't survive without income. I hope Butler Wendler can introduce me to some business. Hearing the request from the furnace, Butler Wendler's eyes lit up. Mr. Furnace, there is a business now, the reward is generous, but it is a bit dangerous, just suitable for a powerful caravan like you. I wonder if you are interested. I'm not afraid of danger, it won't be to deliver supplies to the port of Quarter. That's right. Butler Wendler knew that he couldn't show great expectations at this time, because that would affect the subsequent price negotiation. The furnace could ask for a high price according to the degree of Wendler's desire, but he couldn't help it, hoping that the furnace would agree as soon as possible. No problem, the volcano shipping fleet takes a dangerous route. Let me show you, I have engraved the seal, just waiting to open a big order and usher in a good start for the company. Butler Wendler saw that the furnace really took out a seal, an oval company seal, engraved with Volcano Shipping Trading Co., Limited. He sighed a little, it was indeed the most powerful pirate on the Sarago Sea, and his thinking was different from other pirates. As far as he knew, Port Disaster Morgan and Black Baron Basha, both surrendered to the Royal Navy's Eastern Fleet based on their experience in fighting against the evil god Navy. The furnace in front of him was thinking about setting up a merchant shipping company, which meant that furnace felt that he could deal with most of the dangers on the ancient sea. A powerful person would be so far-sighted no matter what he did. With the strength of the furnace pirates, no, with the strength of Volcano Shipping Trading Co., Limited, who on the Sarah ancient sea would not want to cooperate with such a powerful shipping company. I can't wait to see your company's seal and golden anchor seal printed on the contract. Please follow me into the port, Mr. Furnace.